So I realized when I gave you this worksheet, there were a couple things we haven't gone over yet. So I would like to take this time to look at numbers 3, 6, and 7. Okay? So when we're looking at number 3, we have in parentheses, we have k minus 6 squared equals 49. Whenever we have something in parentheses that is squared, we're going to kind of change our rules. We're going to go ahead and take the square root of both sides first. So when I take the square root of x minus 6 squared and the square root of 49, the square root of x minus 6 squared, I'm sorry, this is k, I keep saying x. K minus 6 squared is just k minus 6 equals the square root of 49 is 7. And we're going to put our plus and minus in front of 7. Okay? We've been doing the plus or minus, but we have typically waited until the end to put that in. We're kind of changing the rules up a little bit here just to get rid of these, the parentheses. So we're going to get rid of the parentheses by squaring taking the square root of both sides. And we get k minus 6 equals plus or minus 7. Now, we're going to break this down into two separate equations. So we're going to have k minus 6 equals positive 7 and k minus 6 equals negative 7. So that came from here. We have a positive because we have a plus or minus. We have a positive 7 and a negative 7. And then our k minus 6 obviously came from here. So we're setting up two separate equations. So let's go ahead and solve. K minus 6 equals 7. We're going to add, we're going to add 6 to both sides. And we get k equals 13. And then over here, we're going to add 6 to both sides again. And we get k equals negative 1. And both of these answers are correct. These are the answers. 13 and negative 1. So with equations that have parentheses, you're going to have two separate answers, not just a plus or minus. You're going to have two completely separate answers. Okay, so let's look at number 6. I'm going to do number 6 with you, and then I'm going to let you do number 7 on your own. So again, I see that I have parentheses. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root of h plus 1 squared, I get h plus 1 equals the square root of 16 is 4, and it's a plus or a minus. So now I have to break this down into h plus 1 equals positive 4, and h plus 1 equals negative 4. And again, my positive and negative came from here. One of each. 1 plus, 1 minus. And then I'm simply just going to solve for h on each one. So I subtract 1 from both sides. I get h equals 3. I subtract 1 from both sides here. And I get h equals negative 5. So like before, I have two separate answers. h equals 3, and h equals negative 5. Okay? So I'm going to let you finish out let's just do number 7 because it brings in our another rule. Okay. I see again that I have y plus 2 squared. So I need to get rid of that squared. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And I get y plus 2 equals the square root of negative 9. Now, here's the new rule. Whenever we have a negative number, I'm going to write this out. If the number under the radical, so the number under that is negative, we cannot take the square root. So whenever the radical has a negative number, like negative 9, our answer is going to be no solution. Okay? There is a solution, but it deals with invisible numbers. So for the sake of this lesson, we're going to say no solution. So if there is a negative number under the radical, the answer is going to be no solution. You cannot solve that. So just like number 9 is going to do the same, we're going to have to, in order to solve for w, we have to subtract 72 from both sides. And we get w squared equals negative 72. I take the square root of both sides, and I see that there's a negative under my square root sign, so this is no solution. And I think there's going to be 2 more that you're going to have a no solution on this worksheet. Okay? So practice. Let me give you one. Let me give you one to practice on your own. And you can just write this on the bottom of your notability. So let's do x squared, parentheses x plus 2 squared equals 9. Okay, and then let's do one more. Parentheses x minus 5 squared equals 100. So do those 2 problems just for practice reasons. And there will be 1 or 2 of those on your quiz tomorrow. Okay? Again, I'm going to do a review session tomorrow from 1 to 2 on Zoom. So if anyone wants to join or has any questions or just wants to clarify anything, let me know. Please jump on. And your quiz will be open tomorrow at 3. And you will have until Wednesday at midnight to complete the quiz. If you do not submit the quiz by Friday, you will receive a 0. If it's after Wednesday, you'll get half credit for what you get correct. So please, please, please do the quiz in that 38-hour time frame that I'm giving you. Okay, again, let me know if you have any questions, and we'll go from there. Good luck.